This last week was a big week in hip-hop because for the first time since 1995, an independent artist debuted with the #1 album. I'm talking about Mac Miller. He wanted to stay independent. He did it, and he earned a #1 album debut. Let's give it up for Mac Miller. Mac Miller is on the line with us right now. Yo, Mac, where you at?
Right here, man. I'm chilling. I'm on the bus.
You on the bus? You on the tour bus right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, congratulations, man. Give them a round of applause for Blue Slide Park. Hey, homie, how you been?
Man, it's crazy, man. I've just been taking it all in, I've just been in constant motion, you know what I'm saying? So I haven't gotten a chance to really stop and realize how crazy this is that we got the first #1 in 16 years like that.
What enabled this to happen? How did Mac Miller, an 18-year-old white kid from Pittsburgh, become the only other white rapper to debut at #1 besides Eminem? Not only that, but how did he do it without a major label, making him the first independent artist to have a #1 album in 16 years? There's pretty much only one answer: his fans. If we look over here on Twitter, we see that Mac has over 1 million followers or fans, some of whom were buying multiple copies of the album the day it released, as evidenced by this guy right here on macmiller.org. If we scroll down, we see that thousands of people posted a picture of themselves with a hard copy of the album or a digital copy, which was motivated by this tweet right here, where Mac said, "Send me a picture of your receipt and hard copy." By interacting directly with his fans through social media and releasing material to them for free, he has built and maintained a market for himself, a market that only continues to grow as his fans continuously share his music with other people. Before this album, Mac had released 2 or 3 free downloadable mixtapes, which are available through sites like this, a site called datpiff.com. This site only features free mixtapes downloadable by the public. All you have to do is become a member, which only requires your email address. One might wonder, how does all of this work? How does releasing music for free result in a #1 album? I hope that the rest of this video will answer that question. I begin to answer this question with help from Lev Manovich's book, The Language of New Media, which came out in the year of 2001. In the first chapter, Manovich describes 5 principles of new media. He breaks down the 4th principle, variability, into different parts. I relate one of these parts to my examination of today's music industry. Manovich states that in a post-industrial society, every citizen can construct her own custom lifestyle and select her ideology from a large number of choices. Rather than pushing the same objects or information to a mass audience, marketing now tries to target each individual separately. The logic of new media technology reflects this new social logic. Every visitor to a website automatically gets her own custom version of the site on the fly from a database. This idea has been taken to a whole new level with the emergence of social networks such as Facebook, which fine-tunes the ads that are given to you every time you visit the site. Same thing with Twitter and who you choose to follow. Once you like an artist on Facebook or follow an artist on Twitter, you immediately become part of their social network, which they use to promote whatever they're working on at the moment. Here we see Kid Cudi releasing a snippet of his new single via Twitter. Usually a fan can listen to this content for free since they choose to support the artist on the social network. As you can see, the download is just a click away. Your social networking page will now adjust your preferences to this artist, letting you know anytime they are up to something new. It will also promote other artists like the one you chose to become a fan of. The fan can then decide whether or not they like the content. If they do, odds are they will support the artist and buy their album when it is released. I conclude this video with part of Kerry Sargent's conclusion from the article titled "Local Musicians Building Global Audiences." This paper began with the notion that social capital is relevant to the ways that musicians engage in information and communication technologies, or ICTs, and to their ability to use ICTs to extend their bases of support and reach new audiences. Through the findings, I showed how musicians build dense local networks of support while at the same time extending their social networks outward beyond their local scene. However, within these outward extensions, musicians are drawing upon relationships that are cultivated with a trust produced either by existing, maintained social ties or by niche interests within small but dispersed communities. Those with mobile lifestyles and financial capital best maintain extra local connections. Without connections to record labels and other more formal music industry institutions, local level musicians encounter significant limits in trying to reach broader audiences. A number of commercial services have arisen to address and capitalize on local level musicians' desires to overcome these limits. It is the dynamic between commercial services and emerging instrumental relationships among informal musician organizations that the music post industry is beginning to take shape. A perfect example of what he just said is these blogs that I showed previously. These blogs solely serve the purpose of promoting artists which the blogger supports, and since the content is easily accessible, these blogs are very successful. Also, artists also utilize social networking to break the barriers of reaching more people. They do not need a major label to promote them since they could do it themselves on their social networking profiles on Twitter and on Facebook. Through the use of these mediums, artists are able to generate grassroots movements for their music without any major label promoting them. They just need these blogs and their social networking sites to promote their music and gain a fan base. Although sometimes the content might be a bit ridiculous, as you can see right here. That guy's just ridiculous. This guy is a perfect example of what the internet can do for you, because he has titles of songs called Rich Ho, Charlie Sheen, and other ridiculous titles, and he's successful because of it. But I end this with one of my favorite artists to take advantage of this technique, Wale. Enjoy.
Never made it. See, God gave us the talent, but the devil make us famous. My effort is contagious, so check this BOA shit. With this recording, I'm as sick as Jordan before game 6.